Hello and welcome to Whisky Sisters, the podcast.
I am
Inka Larissa.
And my name is
Jennifer Rose.
Together, we will be bringing you a weekly whiskey podcast where we'll be discovering drams, exploring distilleries, talking to industry experts, and sharing other whiskey adventures.
Not only will we be sticking our noses into our drams, but also into all things new and current in the whisky universe, with a leading commentary, of course.
You're listening to Whisky Sisters, the podcast.
This week, lovely listeners, we will be sampling Tomatin Portuguese Collection. Big thanks to Tomatin for supplying us samples. Oh, Inka, are you okay there? You smashing some glasses already tonight?
I was pouring whiskey and then I just smashed the glass bottle.
Yeah.
It's okay.
And
no whiskey was spilled.
Oh, that's it. No drams were harmed in the making of this podcast.
I'm excited to try these samples. So yeah, but before we stick our noses into our whiskey glasses, let's stick our noses into the whiskey news.
Stick your nose in it.
A new whisky distillery has been given the green light for North Dublin that will create a whopping 150 jobs in the area. North Dublin on the Isle of Ireland, for those of you that are far-flung listeners and maybe don't know that, don't want to assume, because Inka, we've got listeners from all over the globe right now. I was having a wee look at that, but anyway, I'm totally digressing. But North Dublin on Ireland. So the distillery and visitor centre in Balbriggan is expected to attract up to 50,000 tourists a year when the distillery is up and running. The whisky will be manufactured on site in the new distillery, while plans also include a logistics park. The development will consist of 7 buildings for light industrial and warehouse uses.
Also, a top brewery in Dumbarton is set to enter the world of distilling with the launch of new gin and whiskey. The team behind the successful Loch Lomond Brewery have announced the creation of their new distilling house, Dalrick Distillery. I don't know. How do you say that?
I don't know.
The new Lowland Distillery is already readying casks for its first single malts, with 100 set to be filled this year, and 50 of those are available for pre-sale. They will also be using their expertise to create not only the new gin and the whiskey, but also brand new Scottish rum. Busy. The rum will be created using molasses and sugarcane for a true taste of the Caribbean.
Oh, that's very busy then, and quite diverse, isn't it? Quite a bold plan.
Maybe they will use the rum casks then later on for the whiskey.
That would be nice, wouldn't it, to finish them off? In other news, English producer The Lakes Distillery has added ex-Macallan whisky maker Sarah Burgess to its team. She joins Lakes Distillery after a year-long stint as creative director at the Craigellachie Hotel, where she was in charge of developing a new collection of sodas inspired by Speyside. Burgess previously spent time as lead whisky maker for Macallan, focusing on whisky range creation, innovation and quality control for single malts. So pretty cool job titles for her there.
Yeah, actually, I think we should probably look into English whiskey a little bit. Lakes Distillery seems very popular.
Yeah, there's lots of chat about it, isn't there?
Yeah.
And there was a whisky festival recently down in the Lake District, I believe.
All right. I've never been there.
It's super pretty, actually. Very, picturesque.
Whisky Sisters!
Tomatin Distillery, which means Hill of the Juniper, is located in the Highlands between Aviemore and Inverness on the Speyside border. It was founded in 1897 and it stayed open until 1906, and then it reopened under new management in 1909. At one point, the distillery had expanded and became the largest malt whisky distillery in Scotland, with a total of 23 stills and overall capacity of 10 million litres per annum. In 2002, however, they decided to reduce the number of stills to 12, which marks the change in business focus from mass production for the blended Scotch whisky market to growing the range of the single malts. And Tomatin Distillery closed again in 1985. Always, all these distilleries open, close. But it was saved a year later by a Japanese company. And in fact, Tomatin was the first Scotch distillery to be under Japanese control.
Oh, so in the history books there for sort of Japanese whisky and Tomatin things.
Yeah, well, actually, I just saw another news thing today. Just quickly mention this. Tomatin is bringing out some old Japanese whiskey because they got the links to the Japanese market. So they're bringing it back under Tomatin label.
That's cool. A change in packaging and new marketing style allowed I say Tomatin, Inka, you say Tomatin? Who's right?
I don't know. I was wondering that. Like,
You say Tomatin, I say Tomatin. Keeping it spicy. I'm going Tomatin. And I'm comfortable if I'm wrong. So allowed the Tomatin single malt brand to truly shine and more accurately reflect its deserved place in the crowded whisky market. It is Tomatin's much improved wood policy which has brought it to the notice of whisky lovers. A higher percentage of first fill casks, ex-bourbon and ex-sherry has given more flesh and structure to the always top-notch spirit. Each one bursting with flavour and unique characteristics whilst showcasing the classic Tomatin house style, unpeated, light, soft and fruity. The single malt range has been widened in terms of its age statements and introduced a peated variant, Kuhbochen.
Tomatin Distillery was named Sustainable Distillery of the Year at Icons of Whisky Awards 2023. And in 2013, they became the first distillery in Scotland to install an environmentally efficient wood pellet fueled steam boiler for use in the production. And they've done like loads of other stuff as well. And instead of using the draft, which is the result from the mashing process, instead of giving it to animals, like loads of distilleries do, they now send it to a biogas plant to generate a green sustainable fuel, which is then fed into the main gas network.
Very cool, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Especially in times of crazy fuel prices and, it's like a hot topic. Pardon
but
the pun.
I always wondered something because when the distilleries feed that kind of boozy animal feed like to the animals, and then the cows are farting on the land, isn't that gonna be bad for the environment as well?
Oh dear.
Honestly, I was wondering, like, I was thinking, research this if anyone's written any research into it.
Yeah, and looked into the effect on the digestive system of the cows and subsequent gases released.
Exactly. I think that's kind of form of pollution as well.
I'm imagining super happy cows that get to eat that.
Yeah.
Dram On Fire.
Do you know what? It's quite nice, I think, to be featuring this Portuguese collection of Tomatin because when I think of Portugal, I think of the sun. And in Scotland right now, the weather is gross. It's like super wet and grey and rainy. So featuring the Portuguese Collection, which is a limited edition series dedicated to and inspired by Portuguese wines, is making me very happy, Inka.
Yeah, it's actually been really warm here. Like the other day was 18 degrees, which is just crazy.
Wow.
And it's been really rainy, but now the last couple of days, actually, it's got cold and every day is really sunny. So it's nice.
Oh, that's quite nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm just so not a winter person. Like I was looking at the Finnish Whiskey Girls Instagram and they're looking super glam and these picturesque, icy, atmospheric shots and it's like all so amazing. And I'm just like, I freaking hate winter.
I know. I do like it that they kind of make it work. You live in a country that's dark and cold, but they totally love it as well.
I know.
I'm a weird Finnish person because I don't love that at all. And like always in the winter as well, I get like blacks under my eyes,
It's not good. Like, my skin is all like weird and like as if I've been boiled and I'm just like, I feel like Gollum out of Lord of the Rings in winter.
Yeah, exactly. My husband says that I look like my skin is see-through. Pasty white.
I kind of like super admire people that are like all outdoorsy and love winter and all that, but I'm just like, yuck, I hate it.
Yeah.
So bring on the notions for me of nice sun and this Portuguese collection expressions. Let's talk a bit more about those. They were each distilled on the 8th of September 2006 and laid down in traditional Scotch whisky oak casks for over 8 years. On the 23rd of April 2015, the whisky was then moved into tawny port, moscatel, hang on, I'll try and say that properly. Moscatel de Butal. No, that sounds French. Oh no, I'm messing this up. Moscatel de Cebutal and Madeira wine casks for a further 7 years, all bottled at a respectable 46% ABV.
So 15 years of aging. My first impression, just looking at these, I'm wondering if there is caramel coloring because they're all the same color.
Well, they are very similar, aren't they? That would be good to find that out. I was trying to make like when I was doing my notes and writing down about the colour, I was trying to make them a bit different just to jazz up Dram On Fire. But you're right, they're pretty much the same.
So what did you scribble down? Yeah, let's start. Actually, the bottles were numbered. So let's start with the port. It said 1 out of 3. So I think that's what they want us to go. Port, Moscatel, and then Madeira.
Okay, awesome. Port first. Yeah, colour. I've got kind of fairly light goldeny amber.
Yeah, there's something, it's kind of a slight red tint to it.
Yeah, oh yeah, there is actually. I agree with that. On the nose, I got juicy red berries, creamy panna cotta, flowers from a summer meadow. And then when I left it in the glass and went back, I kind of got like a toffee on the nose too.
Yeah, it became sweeter. But I thought the nose was anyway, the initial kind of sniff was a bit sweet. I was thinking dried fruits, baking spices, some cinnamon. And like, yeah, after a bit time in the glass, it was kind of cookie doughy, cinnamony.
Nice. I like it on the nose. Do you?
Yeah, works. How about the palate?
I got roasted peaches, whipped cream, and then I got a wee bit of lemon and ginger together. And I was thinking like lemon and ginger sponge. And I was like, no, lemon and ginger tea.
Oh, yeah, good call. Yeah, with some honey in it.
Can you get on board with that?
Definitely.
What did you get?
I was thinking summer berries, like blackberries, black currants, and definitely some spice in there, like ginger. So that's your lemon and ginger thing. Also, I thought it was quite oaky and like red grape skin.
Okay.
I don't mean in a way like tannin, but just not also as juicy as the actual grape.
As the fruit, yeah.
Yeah, but like maybe a little bit of the skin and the fruit. I don't know.
No, I like that.
And I think there's definitely some caramel on the finish.
Okay, I got a wee bit of gentle spice, just a wee gentle spicy prickle on the finish.
Yeah.
I thought it was a pleasant and easy sip.
What kind of spice do you didn't get the ginger?
Maybe kind of like definitely not a peppery or kind of chili kick spice, nothing like that. Something much softer.
Yeah, I would agree.
Maybe more like a kind of spicy, prickly sensation in the mouth more than a boom spicy taste.
Yeah, it's not like long lasting.
Yeah.
And it definitely, I think it's mellowed a little bit now that's been in the glass for a while. Yeah, not too shabby. So how about Moscatel? So basically, those who don't know, Moscatel is made similar way to Pedro Ximénez. It's kind of sweet and rich in flavor, I guess.
Do you drink that on its own, Inka?
Yeah, it's like like fortified wine, like a dessert.
Wine.
But I'm not like a huge fan of drinking
Dessert
things like-
wines. Yeah.
Yeah, they work with like cheeses and some food, but they're not my favorite.
Yeah.
Although in whiskey making, they work very well.
Yeah, absolutely. What did you get for this one on the nose?
Okay, well, this one I found much more citrusy, and it always made me think like cognac. There was kind of like that kind of dried fruit thing going on as well, but like in a more like a cognac-y way. And after a while, I was also getting coffee cake.
Oh, nice. I like that. I've not really got so much citrus on the nose, more melted brown sugar, poached peaches, not roasted ones, kind of like soggy poached peaches, but a bit of a grassiness to the nose for me too.
I didn't think the nose was that exciting, to be honest.
Were you expecting a bit more from it?
Yeah, after the first one, I think it's not really doing much for me.
I'm just going to have
maybe a little bit like an alcoholic kind of
waft.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go in for another sip for research purposes to add to my...
Good idea.
Yeah.
The palate, very citrusy. And there's also some sort of spice thing going on, and it's a bit oaky. And maybe like citrus, like lime, or I don't know. After like pondering for ages that what is this like, because it's quite different to the first one. And I think it was almost a little bit herbal with like thyme and like pine.
Oh, that's amazing you say that, but I didn't get time on this one. But the next one, oh, spoiler. This one I can totally get on board with your citrus because on the palate I've got like a lemony cake batter, ginger baking spices. But listening to your notes, I was also thinking quite a tart lemon, like lemon peel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. This finish is quite sweet though.
I still found it quite citrusy. I've got citrusy lemon tart, like the kind of lemon curdy tarts. But yeah, sweet and citrusy for me on the finish for definite. Did you like it?
It's my least favorite of the three. It's not bad or anything. It's just not very, I don't know. I'm not like hugely into like citrusy whiskies.
I know what you mean. I'm kind of liking the afterglow of it. I
Yeah.
don't know, like see when it's down and I'm just chilling. I'm just like, I kind of feel like I've got a bit of a glow. Like my aura is just like I'm getting a whiskey aura vibe.
Yeah. I could definitely see myself in the video. Like my cheeks are getting all red and
the 2-drink flush.
Yeah.
Do you have, I don't know if we have the same adverts on TV growing up. In the UK, there was an advert for this like breakfast oaty thing called Ready Break, a little bit like porridge. And then whole premise of the advert was like, if you have that in the morning, you have a Ready Break glow and this like light was shimmering around them. And although I'm not like totally fireworks and fanfare for the whiskies, I'm kind of feeling pretty good as if I've got a bit of a Tomatin glow.
Yeah, it's the Portuguese sun.
That's
doing
it.
his magic.
That's what it is. Burn, baby, burn. Give me those freckles.
Oh, God. So the last one is the Madeira.
Yeah.
Madeira.
Bring it on.
Okay, the nose on this, amazing.
Sweet baby Lord, mother of whiskies. It's a beautiful nose.
So good. So loads of butterscotch, that kind of caramel. And then I was thinking dried apple and, dried pineapple that is kind of sweet that maybe is added sugar on it.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I love those. And this really smells like dried pineapples.
Oh, do you know it's interesting. We're both like loving this in the nose. My notes are quite different. I've got cherry pie, fruit and nut chocolate, wood shavings, and quite a musky perfume, like a kind of sexy perfumed muskiness.
Yeah, there's definitely some kind of richness on the nose.
Yeah, but I was like, I was excitable with this one on the nose.
Yeah, now that going back to it, I'm even getting like oats. When you make apple crumble, the oats are mixed with sugar and butter and all that. And then when it's cooked, that's also kind of what it smells like.
Oh, super gorgeous.
Yeah, loved it. So how about the palate? Was it as good on the palate for you?
I really liked it in the palate, and I felt if I spent a bit longer, like the notes would keep on coming. I felt they were quite diverse notes. Sweet pastry, and I was going to say pastel de nata, like custard, like the Portuguese custard tart, but I don't know if that's just because I was thinking about Portugal. But definitely like a nice, sweet, soft pastry. Citrus fruits again. I've actually written a worn out leather sofa because I just get something kind of mildly leathery and comforting and all embracing, and I was just feeling like quite poetic. And I got fresh thyme on the palate of this one.
I didn't get the time, but maybe over time I will.
What did you get on the palate for this bad boy?
The initial mouthfeel was really nice and it's quite sweet. And I was thinking like sweet citrus, like mandarins, when sometimes you get a really good mandarin or clementine and it's super sweet, but like but like not as citrusy as the previous one. It's just like a little thing. I think it's kind of the common. They all have something a little bit citrusy.
They've all got a wee zing, haven't they?
Yeah, they do. Definitely some tiny bit of spice and cinnamon and kind of sweet caramel. The finish is really warming and lasts quite long. Like it really feels nice and cozy.
So weird you say that. On the finish, I've got creamy, blissful, floating on a boat vibes.
Yeah. Kind of like nutty, also in a way that, when you've had nuts, you chewed them a little bit. I don't know, like that kind of dry nuttiness and some cherries.
Like a half chewed nuttiness, Inka. Like nuts still in your mouth or nuts aftertaste?
Nuts aftertaste.
I knew it. Amazing.
Yeah. And some cherries. But this was definitely my fave.
Oh, me too. I loved it. It's interesting. We both had a really positive experience of it. Slightly different notes, although some common themes like, the nuts and cherry and
Yeah.
creaminess and coziness and blissfulness. That's
Mm.
quite a lot in a whiskey bottle.
With the dried pineapple, because I don't think dried pineapple smells of anything, but it smells of the taste of dried pineapple.
Yeah.
Just to clarify.
Yeah. Have you ever been to Madeira, the beautiful island south of Portugal?
I've never been to Portugal.
Oh, come on, Inka.
I know.
We need to remedy that this year. I've actually never been to Madeira. However, earlier in the episode, I mentioned fireworks. Do you know, fun fact, that it's got apparently the best firework display on New Year's Eve in the Cosmos in Madeira? And it's kind of got Hawaii vibes, and it's stunning and beautiful. And there's surfing beaches, and there's cable cars going up the mountains, and amazing floral gardens. I want to go.
Sounds amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, and this whiskey makes me want to go more.
Yeah. Also for research, visiting some of the bodegas.
Yeah, I think it's our duty as a whiskey sister to do stuff like that.
I would agree.
We need to step up.
But we're going anyway, June, definitely. Mötley Crüe is waiting for us.
Indeed, we will be hitting Portugal together in summer 2023. So Portugal, brace yourself. No brainer there. Both of our favourites is the Tomatin Madeira edition at 46 ABV. I would definitely be investing in a bottle of that. When I say investing, I don't mean to keep, I mean to guzzle.
Yeah, I think it's about £83, 84.
It's a banger.
Yeah, and they actually did a French collection before. So I guess that's a theme now. So we'll see what's next.
I feel I've had a nice, warm, sunshiny glow on a rubbishy, dark, rainy winter Scottish January night.
Perfect. Or is it doctor's orders?
Exactly, Inka.
Whisky Sisters Whisky Fact.
Okay, fact lovers, let's talk about linarm or lie pipe.
Oh, is that how you say it? I would have just said line. Linearm.
Linearm. I don't know what I'm talking about. Do you want to say it?
I don't know. I would have said linearm.
Okay, and linearm or lie pipe. In its simplest form, the linearm is a cylindrical copper tube that, as it leaves the head of the still, either angles upwards, is horizontal, or angles downwards. But, fact finders, what is the purpose of it?
So with the line arm that angles upwards, the steeper the upward angle, the more reflux it creates. In other words, the more the spirit vapors that condense on the inside of the pipe will trickle back down into the body of the still again. And this will help to create a lighter spirit. But in the case of downward angle, the pipe reduces reflux and instead of encourages carryover, where more of the heavy oils trickle down towards the condenser. And this will help create a heavier, even nuttier spirit.
So your angle matters.
Yeah. Well, obviously it's a minute thing, and there's loads of other things that contribute to the flavor of the new make, but that's just a one little thing.
See, because it uses the term reflux, it kind of makes me think of indigestion and taking Rennie's.
Same. Every time I'm like, there's a better word.
Yeah. Can we describe that differently so we don't have that connotation, please?
But that's kind of what it is, isn't it? Because it moves.
Yeah. Spirit bulk.
Oh my God.
You've been listening to the Whisky Sisters podcast.
Okay, if you've reached the end of another episode, we salute you. Thank you so much for sticking with us and listening to the end. If you enjoy our lively podcast, we would love if you would take a couple of minutes out of your time and give us a 5-star review and chat to all your pals about us and force them to listen and subscribe. Next week, we will be celebrating Burns Night and sipping Bowmore 10-year-old, which was a collaboration with Aston Martin as well as Old Pulteney 2006 vintage. Check us out. Bougie.
Yeah. Also, I will be in Glasgow this week. So we are celebrating the Whisky Sisters' first birthday. Ooh.
Yay! Happy birthday, Whisky Sisters. Too much to go Marilyn Monroe, Inka.
Love it. Brilliant. So yes, yeah. If you're listening on the day of the release, so Wednesday, 18th of January.
Hardcore fans listening on the day of release.
Yeah, and if you happen to be in Glasgow, then come and see us at the Pot Still from 7:30 onwards. We have cake and we are celebrating the birthday, and you might even hear Jen singing live.
Yes, indeed. You know, that might be off-putting, but nonetheless, there's a lot on offer there. Our cheery faces, good chat, drams and cake.
And lots of leopard print.
As always.
Anyway, if you can't make it, don't worry. You can find us on Instagram at whiskysisters.podcast, Twitter at Whisky Sisters, and Facebook at Whisky Sisters Podcast.
Instead of my appalling singing, what better way to celebrate the Whisky Sisters reaching their first birthday with a song from our very own voiceover Bob. Check This Out by Ale Dog. Até logo, Inka. See you later in Portuguese.
Oh, check you out.
Yep, check me out, multilingual Jen.
May your glass be full.
And your dram on fire.